Hey, hey.
We- How did the attitude stuff start?
In my personality in school, as a young man in school, I was always the guy that, for example, they were taking tests. I'd stand up and all of a sudden I'd be looking over another paper and the teacher said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm cheating, cheating." And they would say, "Because you said that, and it was like, and it was the way you said things, I could say, "Charlie, I'm sitting here," like I did a little tape about you, which you'll hear. But I mean, I sit here with you, Charlie, and I'll tell you very truthfully, I'm not too crazy about you.
Not bad.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but we're going along with it for the kind of money you're paying.
Exactly.
But it's all attitude. And I had that in high school. I had that
You're
in
more
the
of a Larry
Navy.
King guy.
In the Navy,
Right.
in the Navy, it was really. I kept saying,
What would happen in the Navy?
Well, I wanted to be in special service, and I kept, it's in the book, stamp the paper, and here I am in the Philippines. The guy says, keep firing over there, that plane over there. I said, no, I do jokes, just keep firing.
Has it ever gone too far for you?
I tell you the truth. This is the God's truth, Charlie, as I sit here now, as 81 years of age. Everything I've ever said, and that's a key thing, I've believed in. In other words, I throw my shot on the stage in fun, and I make fun of people and make fun of my life. What I do is exaggerate. That's all I do. They called me insult. Insult, I wouldn't be headlining in Las Vegas and Atlantic City and all over the world well, not the world, the United States, if I was somebody that was mean and terrible and rude. It's not that at all. And it's not, and I never backed up. In other words, when I throw my lines, I always say I believe in it. And I've never looked back and said, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that." Because that's the kiss of death. It's like a fight. If you say, "Oh, nah, better not." You know how fighters, when they're through, they can't throw that punch.
If they start pulling back, they will never have another win.
Yeah.
Vegas stage was the greatest platform for you.
Vegas is exciting for any young entertainer that's coming up.
Comics.
Yeah, especially
and
comedians,
singers,
of course, and singers. It was the capital. Today, it's getting less and less because it's now big productions and so on.
Right.
I've been fortunate
Cirque du Soleil and all
headline
that.
at the Golden Nugget. I got a wonderful arrangement there, and it's great. And I just came from Atlantic City, from resorts in Hilton, and working these cities. People still want to see personalities, but they're getting less and less because they're using these big production shows. But I've been very fortunate. I've been in Vegas now 45 years. I mean, and they said you have to gamble if you want to stay in Vegas. And I never gambled a penny. And I'm not cheap, believe me. But I never bet. I never bet. Don't know how to play cards.
Why not?
My father subconsciously was a guy, lovely, great dad. But he was like, in those days, there was an insurance man and $2, $5 on the horses.
Right.
My mother used to say, "Max, what are you doing?" "Well, I was busy all day. He was out at the track."
Correct.
And somehow that bothered me. That affected my father. And don't ask me how, but I never felt I couldn't play cards to this day. Come on, Don. I did a picture with Garson Kanan and David Jansen, and I played a dealer, supposedly a shady
What was the
dealer.
movie?
I forget.
Okay.
Look it up. Anyway,
it's in the book.
And I played the dealer, and Kanan says, "Deal the cards and take them out of the shoe." I couldn't do it. I was fumbling. I had to get somebody to double my hands because I never could handle that.
But Vegas is changing. Are the comedians still doing?
Oh, the
much work?
Seinfelds, Elton John, some of the major stuff. And thank God, yours truly. But I think it's getting less and less that they're going for big production shows because the hotels are getting so massive, and it's family. They're getting very. I loved it when it was the guys when I first started, some 30, 40 years ago. And the guy said, "You want a cup of coffee? You want to have your whole family stay for a year?" It was like today you get a cup of coffee, sign here, sign there, just coffee. It's like downstairs when I came in to do your show. And then the guy at the end, after he made me go through the whole thing with the badge, I said, "Would you write good luck to Mary?" Good luck to Mary.
You could not go in the building without a badge.
I swear to God. The guy said, "Would you like good luck to Mary?"
It happens all the time. The act that you do, does it vary from night to night to night simply because who's in the audience? And how much of it is simply in your head and how much of it is planned?
Well, I have a beginning, which I have to have a middle and an ending. And each night I would say about
Go ahead.
Each night I would say about 5% changes around my surroundings. And it's not only Charlie, the audience itself, it's where I am, what's happening, you know what I'm saying? And the atmosphere that I have around me, and that creates a difference. And I create a lot of stuff as I'm working and a lot of ad-libbing that's not in the regular performance. So every night the show does change according to my mood and what have you. And I'm kind of proud of that.
Do you think, as people often write, two things? One, that comedians are crying out to be loved.
I think so, definitely. Sure.
You
We're selling ourselves. We have, you stand out there on that stage, we don't have a car, we don't have a glass, we don't have a toy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
It's one person.
Hello, folks. You know, if you don't like hello,
and
folks,
an audience full of people who are saying, make me laugh.
that's true. Not so much in Vegas, though. Not so much in Vegas and not so much in Atlantic City. They're there to have fun. And when they come to see you, they buy a ticket.
Right.
They know who they're
They
going
have
to
a
see.
couple of drinks and they want to be happy.
And they're dying to see you, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And so therefore, you're halfway there with them because
oh, sure.
the slightest thing will put them into recognition and a laugh.
But now, after so many years, when I travel around the country, it's not that way anymore for me because I know when they buy the hard ticket, they really want to see me. And I know that it's not a challenge anymore. It's just the ones that are not sure out of curiosity, is he going to make fun of my aunt or call me a moron? You know, some people do that, but they come and they know what to expect.
There is also this, I suspect. People want to be insulted or they want you to come after them because it's sort of almost a mark of distinction to be in that audience and have you pick them out.
Yeah, some people do. And I have a knack, I don't know how, but I have a knack of making fun of somebody and exaggerating without hurting them and doing it in such a way that they say, oh, that was great. You know, in other words, when I walk out and I see a guy and I say, I'm a friend, lose some weight. You know, it's a heavy guy. And he laughs because it's the way I said it, like I said it to you. And it's done quickly. And the guy, big heavy guy, will laugh. So another person says it's straight and might be offended by it. So it's always what I see around me.
It's been a great life.
God has been good to me. I don't mean to get dramatic, but I have 2 grown children, 2 grandchildren, a wonderful wife who's completely opposite in a sense, but again, basic
How
values.
is she opposite?
She's like a Valium, you know. She goes, I say, that was a great show. It's good. Listen, let's go and have dinner. It's 8:30. We're on a little long. Dinner. Let's have dinner. And that doesn't mean she don't enjoy it, but she's seen it so many years, and she'll say to me as we're going to bed at night, she'll say, it's a good show. And she has that charm about her. She's wonderful.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
42 years.
Is that?
And
And
they
2
say,
kids, you say?
2 grown children and 2 grandchildren.
2 grandchildren.
Yeah, I have a son, Larry, and a daughter, Mindy, and 2 grandchildren, Harrison and Ethan.
No regrets.
No regrets. Thank God.
Anything you wish that you could have done, you didn't do?
Believe it
You
or
did
not,
movies?
I would have loved to have been on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I would have, like I told to Nathan Lane and producers, like 50 years ago, I think Nathan agreed I could have played that part. And producers show like that. And there's so many other shows on Broadway.
You try hard to be
Yes, I
on
went to the
Broadway?
American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I graduated.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of people still in shock when now they call me once in a while and say, would you come, Mr. Rickles, and make a speech? They never had my name in an ad. It was like, don't say this guy. And I went to the American and graduated with Tom Poston, Mr. Dole, Jason Robards, and Bancroft.
Jason was there?
Yeah, it was my buddy. We hung out together. Tom, too. And Bancroft, rest his soul. And Grace Kelly was in the class.
One of the great nights at this table was Jason Robards and Zoe Caldwell here. And
He's something else, wasn't he?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
The
brilliant.
sense of dignity and the sense of,
Iceman cometh, my God.
yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable.
And yet, when you're with him alone as a friend, talk about the Yankees, talk about the Dodgers, you know.
Had a lot of friends around here, too. A lot of friends. When you think about the business of show business, is it getting better? Is it different today? Has it changed? I mean, you told me how Vegas has changed. Has the work of comedians changed? Is television there more or less because of the changing nature?
Well, I think there's so many comedy clubs now. In my day, there wasn't. We just had joints, what we call joints. I played a place, Wayne Room in Washington. It was like a storefront with a bunch of striptease.
What was it called?
The Wayne Room.
Oh, the Wayne Room. Yeah.
And would you believe every senator, including a great man, that's the God, I erased that. Great man, Walter Cronkite. Can you imagine? Came in and watched me in those days. You know, he certainly want to see this boy because they used to talk about me being in a strip joint. But today, what I'm getting to, it was all strip. Today, it's comedy clubs. And they're strong with the language, which seems to be a big hit. Don't ask me why, but it is. And they have the opportunity, if they're seen by the right guy, to immediately get a television show, which is great. You know, my day, it wasn't like that. You know, and you were canceled in 20. But Johnny Carson's great line. He had more pilots than the Japanese Air Force. Because they all went in the dumper. So my television career.
Johnny's talking about himself.
No, about me.
Oh, about you.
Oh
Okay.
no, me. I had a thing called CPO Sharky, which was.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
That wasn't too bad, but that didn't last either. I took a cab. But everything I ever did, because I was bigger then. You know what I'm saying, Charlie? Big. I realized later in life I was bigger on the screen. In other words, when they said quiet, I'd go, "Where's the gun?" The cameras would vibrate. I was a little too big.
It's sort of
Yeah, and it scared people. That's my opinion.
Did anybody ever say?
Oh yeah, the Academy. They always said. But if I lost that, maybe I wouldn't be sitting with Charlie Rose talking about my career.
Or whatever your name is.
Yeah, right. Because the energy would be gone.
Yeah. When you think about, did you go to Europe much? Did you perform in Europe?
Oh no, never. Yes, I did. This is it. I performed for Princess Margaret. Bob Hope brought me to England.
Yeah.
If you have a minute.
We have a minute.
Bob Hope brought me to England with a golf tour.
Yeah.
And had me and Newhart and Tully Savalas and all the stars in those days to come. And in England, Roger Moore and Jack Hawkins,
Right.
and Anthony Quayle and all the distinguished, and all the British comedians. I can't think offhand right now, but they were all there. And it was in this hotel, big.
And you're and also in the audience is Princess Margaret.
Princess Margaret, yeah, sitting at a table.
And royal booth.
Yeah. And Bob, to make a long story short, he had Tully Savalas and talks about him. Bob Newhart, God bless him, does his thing. Because I'm trouble, and Bob Hope now brings me there, wants me.
Now, they want you early in the game or late in the game?
On the show, you mean?
Yeah.
I was the end.
You're the end, exactly.
My name.
You do not want
There was a man called
Mr.
Marvin. There
Rickles.
was a man called Marvin Davis who passed away.
Marvin Davis.
And Marvin was a great friend, and we used to go to his parties. And my name was and now. This was after everybody spoke for the toast. Bang, bang, bang. And now. I never had a name. It was a now. And I had to get up and make fun of everybody. And then sit down.
So you were a closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, same thing. Bob Hope gets up.
Right.
I want to tell you, folks, this kid is going to be, and I want to say, he doesn't mean any harm. He's a nice kid. And he really is going to entertain you, ma'am. And I'm telling you, he's not mean. He's not this. He's a nice guy. You're going to enjoy him. He's not a bad guy. I think, I think you're going to like, I want to tell you, he's really a sweetheart of a guy. You're not going to be, and I'm sitting there. I said, give me a triple vodka. I'm sitting there. And in England, how to give the vodka. I got it. I said, that's for a star. I said, fill it up so I can drink, please. And Newhart's pouring the vodka. And the guy comes over and I do the show and I make fun of the Queen and the boom.
Yeah.
And calls me over. Hope says, I'll go with you. And now she only wants to see Mr. Rickles. Well, all I said, so Newhart says, I'll go to the airport. I'll get the luggage. Don't worry, Rick. Don, it's covered, sweetheart.
I'll take the wife to the airport.
We'll all be on the plane. Because this time I really ripped it up pretty good. So I got off I go and sit down with Princess Margaret. She sits down with me, Charlie. I swear to God. She said, something, you're very quick. I didn't understand everything, but very quick. Enjoy. Do you drink? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, what do you drink? I said, vodka. Give him a double vodka and give me a gin and tonic. Boom. I was sitting there. Good luck. Boom, boom. She says, you're very quick. And she says, are you Jewish? And so I said, oh, she's anti-Semitic. So it is true. And Anthony Quayle leans over. He says, no, that's only in a dossier, Don. She doesn't mean anything. I didn't think she did, but I did one of your steaks. I'm Jewish. Yeah. So he said, yes, ma'am. She said, okay. She said, I understand. She had a whole dossier. I understand that your mother lives in Florida. She said, yes. My mother lives right here down the street here, talk about the Queen.
Yes, right. In Buckingham Palace.
And your mother lives in a condominium. Said, yes. Mom has a beautiful condominium. Beautiful condominium, right? And my mom has emphysema. She said, your mom has emphysema. My mom has emphysema. Is the Queen of England.
Yes.
She said, so they're both alike, Dom. Both have emphysema. Both have condominiums.
They should be. Anna should know.
That's right.
And should know whatever the Queen Mother's name was.
That's right. And you know what I said?
What?
I said, there's one difference, man. She said, what's that? Your mother has a flag on the roof.
How long did your mother live?
She was 83.
So was that, how many years ago? Was that?
Oh, about 20 now.
20 years ago, yeah. She must have loved your success.
Well, she lived it through me. You would remember. She thought she was Sophie Tucker. You got a party. She's the first one to get up. Some of these days, you hit a bell.
But was she a stage mother?
Yeah, no, she wasn't the one that.
Not in the negative sense.
No, she was the stage mother in the sense that she pushed me. She would come to a club and say to the boss, "Wasn't he marvelous? Did you enjoy?" She's American-born, very
This is
bright.
great.
Was
You know,
this man
well,
marvelous? Tell the
well,
truth.
Tell the truth. Yeah.
Now she would.
You
do
like
this.
my
She
Don,
would
didn't
do
you?
that. Yes, and she
That's
would
what
do
she
that.
said.
But quietly, she said, "Why can't you be like Alan King? Why can't you be nice? Why do you pick on people?" And when people would come around, "Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he great?" But it really, she never really got it. in her
She
heart.
never got what it was that made you great.
That's it. That's it. You said it better than me. Never could
Wow.
figure it. She loved that Alan King, rest his soul. She loved that kind of quiet humor, like Newhart. You know what I said? It's not quiet, but it's sophisticated.
If you went back and looked over the last 30 years at most of the great comedians, whoever list you would take a compilation of all the great comedians that are alive and say, who were the greats? What percentage of them would be Jewish?
Oh, God, 50%.
50%. And why is that?
I don't know, the upbringing, the background, like the Italians are singers. You know? Who's to say? But if you want to, I have a good second.
Carnegie Hall in New York on the 12th of June, which I know is going to be a big night. Congratulations, Don, and happy 70th birthday. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Well, that's about it.
No, that's not about it.
And it's not 50 years. Give me a break. It's 40. I'm not in the business 50 years.
Listen, kids,
Jolson was in the business 50 years and he's not around.
70 years old. That's a milestone, huh? Congratulations on that.
We're going to have services?
No, we're not going to have services, but you know I like you a great deal, and I know you had a wonderful party, and all your friends were there, and I think it's terrific.
Yeah, well, you were on the list, but it was touch and go.
No, it wasn't.
Your
It
name
wasn't
came up.
touch, it
Your
was
name
go-
came up, and I went, forget it. We don't need it. You know, doesn't pick it up anyway, it's great to be 70. Hey, it's how you feel.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I feel damn old. I swear to God.
No, you don't.
Waking up in the morning and say, the leg's not moving. But I feel great. I feel great.
You know what's interesting? I turned 60 the weekend that you turned 70. I don't feel 60, and I'm sure you don't feel 70. I think I'm about 25 years old. I mean, I feel terrific, and I still have.
But you don't look good, Tom.
I know I don't, Don. I don't have your
I'm
genes.
not going to lie to you. You don't look good. You got to lay down. You got to get a checkup.
But like you, have great enthusiasm for your work. You still get a charge out
I'm
of
sure
what you
the
do.
day I don't get a kick out of running up and down stage and wheezing and spitting up and hanging out in the wings going, why does the family keep asking me for checks? You know, the wife just sits there with the jewelry signaling ships. Anyway, so I gotta be nice. And I mean, it's not easy, Tom. When you got a Jewish family, they're always there with, I'm waiting for the money. You know what I mean?
I read about you in the papers now. They talk about Don Rickles' rebirth. Come on, you've been on top now for 40 years.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. Well, you know, I've had my ups and downs, but right now with Comedy Central, they made me the spokesman.
I've read about that. You're doing commercials for Comedy Central.
Yeah, and it's great because all the kids that might not know Don Rickles that well will be acquainted. And I just did a couple of spots with them already, and I'm very excited about it. And it should be great. And probably I will skyrocket, and this show will be a mystery because I won't be here anymore. Too big, too
Stop
big,
it.
too big.
Stop it. Comedy Central. A lot of young comedians have places to work because of Comedy Central. When you were coming up, where could you go to work? There was no Comedy Store, Comedy Central, MTV, none of that stuff.
No, I used to work in places like the Melody Club when the girl came out with the little pasties and did Night Train, ba-boom, ba-boom. And the soup used to dance. The guy serving the soup used to, and all the guys sat in the front, and the boss in those days sat with his robe right in the front, in the bathrobe, right in the front with the robe open. And I tried to concentrate on my work. I thought it was a hunt or something. You know what I mean? I kept seeing a sparrow looking around. Wasn't easy, When you got a guy right in the front, this kid's a funny guy. And I'm doing, gee, there's a live sparrow loose. Nobody watches this show anyway. Don't worry about it.
Every time you're here, once you get going, you're like a steam engine. You just go faster and faster and faster. I mean,
Because I want it to end.
well, it will.
Oh, well, I know you'd say that.
And you told me the last time in school, you were a shy guy. You were not an extroverted kid.
No, I was failing every subject in the world, but I was the class clown, president of the school, and the president of the high school found out I was failing every subject, grabbed his chest and told me to take a cab. Lucky World War II came because I'd still be in high school. As soon as they said, would you like to join up? I was overseas already. And I kept saying to the Japanese, I have nothing against you. I do comedy. I do jokes. And the guy keeps saying, keep firing at the guys with the funny teeth. I said, you don't understand. I buy all their toys. What do they want from me? You know what I mean? And they kept coming out of the jungle going, here's the Jew. I kept saying, don't do that. But they didn't listen.
Were you funny as a kid in school?
Oh, sure, it's a riot.
And where did you get your stuff? Like when we were in school, the funny kids would watch Milton Berle the night before, or they'd watch comedy on television, Jackie Gleason, and they would come in and do those routines in lunch hall. Where did you get funny stuff?
Well, I think for my folks, my father was a wisecracker and he was a good guy and he laughed. My mother didn't have my kind of sense of humor. You know, she was sort of a Jew pat. she just sat in the kitchen with a helmet going, "Get there." And my father sat in his underwear in the living room going, it was a nice family. But no, I'm kidding. My father was a classy guy. But you know, I inherited that. I was always that way. I used to make fun of my grandmother, make fun of people. People who were sick. I made fun of death. I made fun of everything. I make fun of this show because it is a funny show. You know.
Well, we're not the funniest show in town, Don, but
you took a guess.
but we are the biggest joke. See?
No, it's a good show.
And the high school plays that you did, was that your entree to performing before?
No, way before that. Way before that. When I was a kid, I used to run around. I was the kind of guy, and I was the one that always went to the synagogue dances, the church dances, and not too many church dances. But I went to the synagogue dances a lot. I didn't go to the church dances because they were all playing bingo, Yeah. But whenever I went, I was always the guy that got everybody laughing, but never got the girl, I was always driving the car, and they were in the back seat having a luau, and I never got a shot at it. You know what I mean? So I was always the funny guy that never got the girl. But I used to go to the dance. They'd send me, we'd all go in, and to get attention. And I was basically a shy guy. I'd get up on a table or a chair and go, can I stand up?
Sure you can.
And I get up on a chair, I swear to God, get up on a chair, and everybody's dancing, they all dance, and I go, hold it, everybody, I'm leaving. And they go, what? And people stand. They said, what's the matter with him? That was my way of getting attention. Yeah. And then I struck out again. I always wound up with a waitress with a tooth that glistened.
We went to the CYO dances, and it was the same thing. There were shy guys and extroverted guys. But growing up Catholic, we always wondered about stuff about being Catholic. Why couldn't you have meat on Friday? Or why did you have to not have water before you went to communion? Did you wonder about things that Jewish kids had to do because of religion ever?
No, I paid no attention. I phoned God. I didn't. You guys got up in the morning and went, looking for a wafer. We didn't do that. We phoned the rabbi, give him a couple of hundred, he does what we want, But I never had that problem. We were very, you woke up with a nun, every morning, pop, sit, dance, go. Right. We didn't have that. Rabbi just sat there and said, how's the family? He said, here, Rabbi, here's a couple of hundred, don't bother me. Right. Fantastic. That's the way I was raised. Take your time. This is your show. Don't go to pieces.
No, I won't. I just want to try something else.
Okay.
You went to the Dramatic Academy in New York and you studied acting and you were an actor and all of it, but somewhere along the line you made the transition to comedy. When did that start? When you decided,
When I couldn't get work.
Oh, really?
Yes, it started very early. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I've mentioned this, I think, before to you, and I went there with Jason Robards, a fine actor, and Anne Bancroft, and a lot of good people at that time.
And you were good there, I hear.
Yeah, well, hey, I graduated.
That's right.
They even wrote me a letter because we went through a whole thing that they said they never publicized that I went to the American Academy, because when you come from the nightclub world, it's like, forget about it. They don't want to talk about it.
Right.
It's not because they're trying to be indifferent, but it's the saloon to the artsy world, Yeah. So I went to the Academy and I graduated and I walked around Broadway and I read for Stalag 17 and I read for Mr. Roberts and I read for a lot of shows and I never got a job. So I used to go to the Lower State, sit in the balcony and watch a movie. And my father would say, where were you? Oh, all day long, up and down Broadway. I was in the back, boom. Then I was an usher in a movie. I did all kinds of odd jobs like me and other guys. And I never could get to Broadway, Yeah. So suddenly I was always kidding around. So I went to a dance. A guy gave me $5, and the guy gave me $10, then $20. And today I'm up to $50. So
yeah, right.
I'm set.
Right. We are with Don Rickles, who later on this month will be appearing at the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. And then on June 12th, he's on stage at Carnegie Hall in New York, which we'll hear about in just a second. We'll be right back after these messages.
Business.
Heck is a color teeny.
It's a martini that you have when you're watching a color television. It's just a dumb, stupid thing.
Okay. Now my questions for Don Rickles. Don, first of all, I love you.
Thank you very much. I love you too.
Okay,
Let's have lunch.
I've appreciated your work for many years.
Thank you.
And I truly do love you.
Thank
But
you.
I wanted to ask you, Don, first of all, what is your favorite insult and how the heck do you manage to keep an audience on your side when you insult them?
Well, the whole idea is you got to let them know it's a joke. That's the first thing.
Right.
Otherwise, the paramedics are going to give me mouth to mouth. And it's just it's a style and a way of making people enjoy you. And it's not like insult. People say